Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing my very first book haul of 2019. Even though I got most of these books in 2018. I haven't done a book haul in a couple of months because I've been trying to save my money and not buy books faster than I can read them when I still have all these books on my shelf that I haven't read, and I don't want to just be buying more books and not reading the ones that I currently have. And what's cool about this book haul is that all of these books were given to me as either gifts from friends or family, or they were sent to me by a publisher, so I didn't actually have to spend any money on these books, and I'm very thankful for all the people who did give them to me. So let's get started. I have 10 books to haul for you guys today. The first one is one that I already mentioned in my last video for my January TBR, but that is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. Originally I had this book and I tried to read it and I just didn't like it. I had such a hard time getting into the story. I ended up unhauling it because I just wasn't interested in it and I didn't really care about reading it. There's just so much hype surrounding this series and I don't understand why everyone loved it so much. So I thought I would give it a second chance. I would try again to read the story because everyone seems to like it. I have not heard very many bad reviews about it. So I thought, you know, I'll give it a second chance. If I don't like it this time, then we know something's up. Then we just know that I'm done with it for good. But I do think it'd be cool to get into this series. I'd love to actually like this series. Like, I would really like to be invested in it. I just had a hard time getting into it the first time, so we'll see what happens. But I'm going to try and read it again. So one of my best friends, Emily, sent me this book, and I'm super thankful for that. So thanks, Emily. And she also made this cute little book pouch that I can put it in. With all these bears and deers on it, and I love it. There you go. So now it's in a book pouch and I can carry it around, and this thing is awesome. Then I got these books for Christmas from my grandparents, and these are the Great Tales of Middle-earth, and this is the box set from Barnes & Noble, which is just so awesome. Even though I already have all three of these books, I'm super excited to have them like in the box set and be able to like put this on my shelf and make it part of my Tolkien collection, and I'm super happy to have them. They're in newer condition. I bought the other ones used, and these are in brand new condition. The first book is called The Children of Hurin, and this is about a guy named Turin and his sister, whose name I cannot pronounce. This takes place in the first age of Middle-earth, and it is about him and his sister and being hunted by the Dark Lord Morgoth, who was the Dark Lord before Sauron, as far as I know. At least I think that's right. I don't know. I'm not well versed. I haven't read the complete Silmarillion, but I think that's the first Dark Lord. And this book goes into more detail than the Silmarillion, and that's why these books were published, is because they were a compilation of some different writings that Tolkien had about each of those stories. Then the second book is Beren and Luthien, and this is a love story between a man and an elf, which I think is just super romantic. And this is like the original mortal versus immortal love story. And so this is a tragic love story about these two people. Beren is a mortal man and Luthien is a immortal elfin lady, elfin princess, I don't know, but her father does not like Beren because he knows he's mortal, and if the two of them choose to join in a union, then Luthien will forfeit her immortality. Kind of like what we see in the main trilogy with Aragorn and Arwen. So Luthien's father agrees to let Beren and Luthien be together if Beren can accomplish the most impossible task, which her father believes he can't do as a mortal, because the task is he has to steal something from Morgoth, the Dark Lord. So it's very interesting. It is like the original fantasy love story, and on J.R.R. Tolkien's grave, he and his wife have Beren and Luthien like engraved on their tombstones, which is really, really sweet. So I'm really excited to read this book. I'm not a big fan of romance in general, but when it comes to high fantasy and sci-fi, I'm all over it. So, and then the last book is The Fall of Gondolin, and this is the book that just recently came out last year, and I think this might have been the very first story that Tolkien ever wrote. Not the one that was published, but just the first one that he ever wrote down while he was fighting in World War I. And The Fall of Gondolin is about, quite literally what the title says, it's about the fall of this magical city of high elves called Gondolin. And the characters in this book are Tuor, who is the cousin of Turin in Children of Hurin, and the kind of ocean water god Ulmo, who is, I believe, kind of associated with Poseidon or Njord. And so it is about his adventure in Gondolin and the eventual fall of the city to Morgoth and the orcs who destroy the city and wipe out the high elves of Gondolin. So this is where the elvish blades from The Hobbit are made from. Most of these stories are tragedies, but I'm still interested in reading this. I'm excited because this might be one of the final works published by Tolkien and by his family. So it's kind of special. So I'm really happy to have these in the box set edition, and they look so good on my shelf, and I just can't wait to read them. So this was a great gift, and I'm super excited. Then next up was another Tolkien book, and that is The Lay of Autru and Etrone. I'm just gonna pretend I know how to say that because I have no idea how to actually pronounce those words. They are old Britain words, or Britain. So this is a poem that Tolkien wrote back in like the 1930s, and it's been out of print for a long time, and I think it's finally been published again as another one of his works. And I don't really know much about it. I know that these two words, Autru and Etrone, I'm sorry, I'm butchering that. I literally have no idea how to pronounce it. I feel so awkward trying to like pronounce it to you guys. Anyways, the two characters in the story are a lord and lady who are living in Celtic Britain, and so the story is about them and just like their relationship, I think. Usually when you say the lay of, it usually has to do with like either it could be a tragedy or it can be romantic. And yeah, it's fairly short. It's just a tiny little like booklet almost, but I think it's cool. I'm gonna read it just because I'm interested in British literature and just figure out how to pronounce the names of these two characters here, because I don't know how to do it. The next book I got was The Crimes of Grindelwald by J.K. Rowling, and this is the screenplay for the new movie. I've heard that the new movie is so bad and that people didn't enjoy it, or that it was just not, it didn't meet the expectations people were expecting. The movie's bad, that means obviously the screenplay is probably bad, so I don't know if I'm actually going to read this. I don't really plan on seeing the movie, but it's definitely a beautiful cover. I love the design and the color of the dust jacket and just like the whole Grindelwald design here, and it looks very magical, but I've just heard that the story is not that good. But it's a pretty book, so I'll definitely keep it on display with my Harry Potter books. Then I got another Tolkien book. One of my Bookstagram friends recommended it to me, and that is The Hobbit Facsimile Edition. And it's in this really cool box cover. So this is like the front, and it has this like 3D kind of map of Erebor, which is really cool, and it's got Smaug on the front, and the spine looks really cool, so it looks great on my shelf. But this is the box that it comes in, and what's special about the Facsimile Edition is that it's actually a official reprint of the very first edition of The Hobbit that was ever published. So like the original cover, the original binding, everything. And so to commemorate 75 years of The Hobbit's publication, they released the Facsimile Edition. And so I'll open the box here and show you guys. And it comes with a little CD here, and this disc actually has voice recordings of Tolkien himself reading chapters from The Hobbit. So that's pretty awesome to like actually listen to his voice in real life. And then it also comes with this little piece of paper here, and it has these awesome runes on the side, and then you unfold it and it's the map of Erebor, the area around Lake Town and the river and everything. So that's pretty cool. That's fun. Then it comes with this little booklet about The Hobbit's publication. It's actually probably one of the most purchased books in all of history, so that's pretty awesome. So it's just a little booklet on the history of The Hobbit's publication. Here's the book itself in the original cover, and I love this cover so much. It is beautiful with like the blue mountains and you know, the eagles on the front here, and just like the spine has the Lonely Mountain on it. So that's really cool. So I love that. And if you take the dust jacket off, you actually get this really cool, like antique looking copy of the book. And it has this like really cool canvas binding to it, and it just looks real old-fashioned. It has the dragon on the bottom, just the little simple, the Hobbit, and it has green sprayed edges on the top, but like nowhere else on the book. Just the top of the book has like green sprayed edges, which is really weird. But then you have the spine, which I really like. The spine has 3 runes on it, and just the title of the book. And then yeah, you've got Smaug on the front and back, and the mountain design all around. And then the book also contains illustrations that Tolkien made of the story. So this is like the Misty Mountains and the Thunder Battle. It's such a cool edition of this book, and The Hobbit is my favorite story in the Tolkien legendarium. I love The Hobbit the most because it really encapsulates just the spirit of adventure, going out, taking a chance, being bold, and growing along the way, and just the whole idea of, you know, it's about the journey, not the destination. I just really love the themes in The Hobbit, and so this copy is very special to me, and it means a lot, so I'm just really glad to have this. Then the next 2 books I got are actually books that my brother lent to me because he'd already read them and he thought I would enjoy them, and that is Red Rising and the sequel Golden Sun by Pierce Brown. And I have heard so many like interesting things about this series. It's like a new adult sci-fi story, and it's kind of like Hunger Games meets the Greek gods on Mars. So that sounds amazing. So the first book is called Red Rising, and it follows this guy named Darrow, who is in this color caste system where you have reds who are at the very bottom. And Darrow is a red who lives in a subterranean mining colony on the planet Mars, and he believes that he is there trying to terraform the planet so that the people of Earth can eventually colonize Mars one day. But then there are some things that get revealed, and he realizes that he's actually at the bottom of a caste system, and at the top are the golds, and the golds are pretty much just the ideal human being, the perfect human almost. They're handsome, they're strong, healthy, they're super enhanced individuals, pretty much. So Darrow realizes that there is a hierarchy that is designed to keep him down, and he decides he's going to infiltrate it and create havoc. So I am really interested in reading this series. That's about all I know about it, but I've heard really good things about this book, and everyone who's read this series is really excited about it, and it's very hyped. So I will definitely give this a read and maybe review it on my channel, talk about it at some point. And then the sequel is Golden Sun, and this, I don't know anything about this book, it's just the sequel to Red Rising. These covers are so cool. I love the Roman Greek aesthetic to them. It's really awesome. So I'm super excited to read this series, and I hope that I enjoy it. And the last book that I recently acquired was actually sent to me by a publisher, which is super exciting. It was sent to me by Penguin Teens, so thank you, Penguin, for sending me this book. And that is The Last Voyage of Poeblithe by Ali Condi. And this is actually not out yet. This is an ARC copy, and I am so excited, you guys, because this is the very first ARC I've ever received. This is the first time that a publisher has sent me an advanced reader's copy of anything. So, like, I'm just like, yes, this is so exciting. I'm so happy. This is really, honestly, a milestone for me on my booktube channel. Like, I finally have a publisher that sent me an ARC. And so this book comes out on March 26th, and the summary for this book is, there's something Poeblithe, the 17-year-old captain of the outpost's last mining ship, wants far more than the gold they tear from the Serpentine River. Poe has vowed to annihilate the river raiders who robbed her of everything 2 years ago. But as she navigates the treacherous waters of the Serpentine River and realizes there might be a traitor among her crew, she must also reckon with who she has become, who she wants to be, and the ways love can change and shape you. Even and especially, that's kind of a weird pairing, even and especially when you think all is lost. So this is by the same author who wrote the Matched trilogy, which I have not read and I used to own, so maybe this book will be really cool. It sounds interesting. It's like a science fiction dystopian kind of story. It sounds really cool, but I'm just really excited that I have it as an ARC. Like, that's just so cool to, I guess, just finally be noticed by, you know, publishers, and they send me a book. So, woohoo! This is cool. I'm mainly just excited about that, but I will read this book and let you guys know my thoughts on it because it sounds really cool and it's an ARC, so I'm super excited. So that is all for my book haul. I hope you guys enjoyed. I know there was a lot of Tolkien books in this one, but they were all given to me by my family because they know I love Tolkien and Middle-earth. It really wasn't planned, it just sort of happened that way, but it's cool. I'm really glad to have them and I can't wait to read them. If you want to keep up with me and what I'm reading, then you should go follow me on my Instagram and Twitter. I'm always adding to my story and making posts, and I do a lot of cosplays of different bookish characters from my favorite fandoms, so definitely check that out if you're interested. And Twitter, I tweet every now and then, and I have my Goodreads status linked to my Twitter so you can always see when I update my reading status. So my usernames are in the description below if you want to go follow me there. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!